Every single day, hundreds of retirees are loading up moving trucks, selling their California homes, and never looking back. In fact, California has lost more residents than any other state for 5 consecutive years, and the people leaving aren't young risk-takers chasing opportunity. They're retired seniors who saved their whole lives for the California dream, moved there with hope in their hearts. Here's what makes this story so heartbreaking: these aren't people who failed to plan. They did everything right. They saved, they invested, they waited. But California has quietly become one of the most financially punishing and emotionally draining places on earth to spend your retirement years. And the worst part, most of them say the same thing when they finally leave: wish I had done this year's ago. Before you make any retirement decision, stay with us, because what we're about to reveal could save your retirement completely. Number 1. The tax burden that never retires. Imagine finally reaching the finish line after decades of hard work, only to discover that the government is still waiting there with its hand out. That is the brutal reality for retirees living in California. Most people assume that once they stop working, their tax burden lightens. In California, it does the absolute opposite. California carries the highest state income tax in the entire United States, a crushing 13.3% at the top rate. But here's what truly shocks retirees when they finally sit down with their accountant. California taxes your retirement income just like a regular paycheck. Your pension, your IRA withdrawals, your 401k distributions, every dollar you spent a lifetime carefully saving gets taxed at the full ordinary income rate. There is no senior exemption, no retirement income deduction, no mercy. Now compare that to states like Florida, Texas, Nevada, and Wyoming, which charge zero state income tax, or states like Pennsylvania and Mississippi, which actually protect retirement income from taxation entirely. The difference is staggering. A retiree drawing just $70,000 per year from their savings could easily keep $6,000 to $9,000 more every single year simply by living one state over. Multiply that across a 20-year retirement, and you're looking at well over $150,000 walking straight out of your pocket, for nothing in return. The people who feel this the hardest are retirees on fixed incomes who carefully budgeted their savings, only to watch California's tax system slowly drain their financial security year after year. They came for the sunshine, but nobody told them the sunshine came with a tax bill that never retires, even when you do. If this video is opening your eyes, drop a comment below telling us which reason shocked you the most. Your response genuinely helps us understand what matters to you, and it only takes one click to subscribe so we can keep bringing you the truth that protects your retirement. Number 2. The housing cost crisis. Here is a question that should stop every future retiree dead in their tracks. What good is living somewhere beautiful if you slowly go broke just trying to stay there? California's housing market has transformed from an American dream into a financial nightmare that is quietly destroying retirement plans across the country. And the numbers are so extreme that even people who have heard them before struggle to fully believe them. The median home price in California sits somewhere between $800,000 and $900,000, nearly 3 times the national average. In coastal cities like San Francisco, Los Angeles, and San Diego, a modest ordinary home can easily exceed $1.2 million. But even retirees who already own their homes aren't safe, because as property values explode upward, so do property taxes, HOA fees, and maintenance costs on aging homes that were never cheap to begin with. And for retirees who rent, the situation is even more suffocating. The average 2-bedroom apartment in many California cities now demands $2,500 to $3,500 every single month, a number that quietly devours a fixed income before you've even paid for food, medicine, or utilities. Many retirees arrived in California after selling homes in other states, fully convinced their equity would carry them comfortably. Instead, they found themselves in smaller spaces, tighter budgets, and deeper stress than they ever experienced during their working years. Here is the painful truth that is fueling the exodus. That same retiree could sell their California home today, move to a state like Tennessee, the Carolinas, or Arizona, buy a large beautiful home completely mortgage-free, and still have hundreds of thousands of dollars sitting in the bank. In retirement, your home should be your comfort, not your biggest financial burden. Number 3. The wildfire risk and insurance nightmare. This is the reason that completely blindsides retirees, the one they never saw coming, never planned for, and never budgeted for. Most people moving to California think about the weather, the scenery, and the lifestyle. Almost nobody sits down and seriously thinks about the moment they open their mailbox and find a letter telling them their home insurance has been canceled with 30 days' notice, and there is absolutely nothing they can do about it. California's wildfire crisis has escalated into something that can only be described as a full-blown catastrophe. Hundreds of thousands of acres burn every single year, and these fires are no longer staying in remote mountain wilderness. They are tearing through retirement communities, suburban neighborhoods, and oceanside towns that retirees specifically chose because they felt safe and beautiful. The destruction is real, it is growing, and it is becoming impossible to ignore. But here is where it gets truly devastating for retirees on fixed incomes. The insurance industry is fleeing California faster than the residents are. Major household names like State Farm, Allstate, and Farmers have already stopped writing new homeowner policies across massive parts of the state. For retirees who somehow manage to find coverage, premiums have exploded by 200% to 400% in a single renewal period. Some retirees in high-risk areas are now paying an absolutely staggering $10,000 to $20,000 per year just to insure their home, a cost that obliterates retirement budgets that were never designed to absorb that kind of hit. Those who cannot find private coverage get pushed onto California's Fair Plan, a last resort program offering limited protection at premium prices. You pay more and get less. For a retiree who simply wanted peace, security, and a quiet life, this is not just an inconvenience. It is a financial emergency that arrives without warning. Number 4. The high cost of healthcare. Here is something that every single person planning retirement needs to hear. Healthcare is not just a health issue in California, it is a financial crisis waiting to happen. Most retirees assume that once Medicare kicks in, the heavy lifting is done. They feel protected, covered, and prepared. But California has a very expensive and very rude awakening waiting for anyone who arrives with that assumption, and thousands of retirees have already learned this lesson the hard way. Yes, Medicare is available everywhere across the country. But what most people never realize until it is too late is that supplemental healthcare costs in California are dramatically higher than almost anywhere else in the nation. Out-of-pocket expenses, specialist consultation fees, and prescription drug costs are all inflated by California's relentlessly high cost of living. The same medication, the same procedure, the same doctor visit, it simply costs more when your zip code is California. But the surprises do not stop there. Many retirees discover with genuine shock that some of the highest-rated Medicare Advantage plans available in other states do not even operate in California, and those that do offer narrower networks, fewer choices, and longer waiting times. Finding a quality primary care physician who is actively accepting new Medicare patients can take 3 to 6 months in many California cities. When your health cannot wait, a 6-month waitlist is not an inconvenience, it is dangerous. And for retirees who eventually need long-term care, the numbers become almost impossible to process. A private room in a California nursing facility can cost over $120,000 every single year, nearly double the national average. That figure alone can completely wipe out a lifetime of careful savings within just a few years. In retirement, your health decisions should be driven by your needs, not by whether your bank account can survive the bill. Number 5. Homelessness, public safety. This is the reason that makes most retirees pause before they say it out loud, because they do not want to sound uncompassionate or uncaring. But when you sit down with retirees who have left California and ask them honestly why they packed up and moved, this reason comes up again and again and again. And it deserves to be talked about with honesty, with empathy, and without apology. California is home to the largest homeless population in the entire United States. According to state and federal data, over 170,000 people experience homelessness on any given night across the state. And what has changed dramatically over the past decade is where that crisis is visible. Encampments have expanded far beyond downtown urban cores and are now appearing in suburban neighborhoods, public parks, beachfront areas, and quiet residential streets that retirees specifically chose because they felt peaceful, clean, and safe. Many retirees describe a deeply unsettling experience, watching the neighborhood they carefully selected, researched, and moved into transform significantly over just a few years. Parks that were once filled with families, dog walkers, and seniors enjoying morning walks have become difficult and uncomfortable to visit. Public spaces that once felt like extensions of home now feel inaccessible. And that slow erosion of comfort and safety wears on people in ways that are hard to measure but impossible to ignore. Beyond homelessness, property crime rates across several major California cities remain stubbornly elevated. Retirees, who often have visible assets, predictable daily routines, and may live alone, can feel particularly exposed and vulnerable in ways they never anticipated. Nobody is asking for perfection. But feeling genuinely safe, comfortable, and at ease in your own neighborhood is not a luxury in retirement. It is an absolute necessity. And for thousands of retirees across California, that feeling has quietly and painfully slipped away. Number 6. Traffic infrastructure and the daily quality. Here is something that sounds almost too simple to be a serious retirement concern, until you actually live it every single day for years on end. Traffic. Just the word alone makes California residents instinctively tense their shoulders. But for retirees who move to California imagining long leisurely days, spontaneous afternoon drives, and the sweet freedom of finally having nowhere urgent to be, the reality of California's roads delivers a daily gut punch that slowly but surely drains the joy right out of retirement life. The Los Angeles metro area consistently ranks among the most congested urban areas on the entire planet, not just in America, but in the world. And the problem is not isolated to LA. Cities like San Francisco, San Jose, Sacramento, and San Diego battle relentless gridlock on roads and highways that were built for a fraction of today's population and have never been adequately expanded to keep pace. What looks on a map like a 20-minute drive to a doctor's appointment routinely becomes a 90-minute ordeal in each direction, leaving retirees exhausted, frustrated, and wondering why they are spending their golden years sitting in bumper-to-bumper traffic. But California's infrastructure problems run far deeper than just the roads. Rolling blackouts during summer heat waves leave retirees, who are among the most medically vulnerable during extreme heat, sitting without air conditioning for hours at a time. Severe water restrictions during droughts dictate how retirees can maintain their homes and gardens. An aging, overstretched electrical grid creates an underlying sense of instability and unpredictability that retirees on fixed incomes simply cannot afford to absorb. After spending an entire lifetime navigating workplace stress, deadlines, and daily pressure, retirement is supposed to deliver freedom, ease, and simplicity. California's crumbling infrastructure makes sure that none of those things come easy, and for thousands of retirees, that realization arrives far too late. Number 7. The suffocating cost of everyday living. Let's talk about something that doesn't make dramatic headlines but silently destroys retirement savings faster than almost anything else: the relentless, everyday, inescapable cost of simply existing in California. Not the big dramatic expenses like housing or healthcare. We are talking about groceries, gas, electricity, dining out, and every ordinary purchase that fills the quiet routine days of retired life. Because in California, even the ordinary is extraordinarily expensive. California's overall cost of living index runs approximately 38% to 42% higher than the national average, according to data from the Council for Community and Economic Research. That gap shows up everywhere without exception. At the grocery store, retirees pay significantly more for the same basket of food available cheaper in virtually every other state. At the gas pump, California drivers routinely pay $1 to $1.50 more per gallon than the national average, driven by state taxes and unique fuel blend requirements that apply nowhere else in the country. And electricity bills from providers like PG&E rank among the highest in the entire continental United States, hitting retirees especially hard during the brutal summer heat waves when air conditioning is not a comfort but a medical necessity. Even something as simple and joyful as going out for a modest dinner costs roughly 50% more in California than the same meal in states like Texas, Tennessee, or the Carolinas. That gap feels small on any individual Tuesday night, but compounded across months and years of retirement, it becomes catastrophic. Financial experts consistently point out that a retiree living comfortably on $55,000 per year in cities like Phoenix, Raleigh, or San Antonio would need $75,000 or more annually just to maintain that exact same lifestyle in California. Stretched across a 20-year retirement, that difference represents hundreds of thousands of dollars. Money that should have funded travel, grandchildren, experiences, and security instead of simply keeping the lights on and the refrigerator full. Number 8. Political climate and policy frustration. Now this is the reason that sparks the most heated conversations, the strongest opinions, and the most passionate responses. And it is also the reason that requires the most honesty to discuss properly. Because this is not about pointing fingers, choosing sides, or declaring one political belief superior to another. This is about something far more personal, far more human, and far more powerful than any political debate. It is about feeling at home in the place where you live. California's political environment is one of the most aggressively progressive in the entire nation, and the pace of policy change over the past decade has been nothing short of dramatic. For many retirees, particularly those who grew up in a very different version of California or who moved there from more conservative states, the widening gap between their personal values and their surrounding environment has become an invisible but deeply felt daily weight. Energy mandates that drive utility bills higher. Regulations that quietly squeeze small local businesses that retirees depend on and love. Public safety policies that feel completely disconnected from the neighborhood realities retirees are actually living. Each policy decision individually might feel manageable, but together they create an environment where many retirees feel like strangers in their own community. And here is the critical point that gets lost in every political argument. This is not exclusively a conservative versus liberal issue. Retirees across the political spectrum report feeling that California's government has become too disconnected, too expensive to sustain, and too focused on ideological priorities rather than the practical daily needs of aging residents on fixed incomes. When your pension is being taxed, your insurance is being canceled, your neighborhood is changing, and your elected officials seem focused on everything except the issues affecting your daily life, frustration does not need a political label. It just needs a moving truck. States like Tennessee, Texas, and the Carolinas are welcoming these retirees with open arms, offering not just lower costs, but a genuine sense of cultural belonging, community alignment, and peaceful daily life that California has stopped delivering for far too many people. Number 9. Family migration following the kids. Here it is, the reason that never makes it into the news articles, never appears in the financial reports, and never gets discussed in retirement planning seminars. Yet when you sit down face to face with retirees who have left California and ask them the real, honest, unfiltered reason they finally made the decision to leave, this is the one that makes their voice crack. This is the one that hits differently. Because this reason is not about money, taxes, or politics, it is about love. Their children left California first. Over the past decade, young professionals and growing families have been abandoning California in extraordinary numbers, priced completely out of homeownership, suffocated by the cost of raising children, and chasing better job markets, more space, and a genuinely affordable future in cities like Austin, Nashville, Phoenix, Denver, and Boise. They left looking for opportunity. They found it. They built new lives, bought homes, started families, and planted roots somewhere new. And then a few years later, their parents are standing alone in a California home that suddenly feels very, very empty and very, very far away. Think about what that actually feels like. You moved to California for the dream, the weather, the culture, the coastline, the lifestyle. But your grandchildren are growing up in Texas. Your daughter is building her life in Tennessee. Your son owns a beautiful home in Arizona that he could never have dreamed of affording in California. You are watching their entire world unfold from a distance, through a phone screen, through holiday visits that never feel long enough, through birthdays and school plays and first steps that you are missing in real time. Research published in respected journals like the Gerontologist and Social Science and Medicine confirms what every grandparent already knows deep in their heart. Proximity to family is one of the single strongest predictors of happiness, health, and life satisfaction in older adults. More than beautiful weather. More than world-class amenities. More than any ocean view. Nothing replaces being there. When the family moves, the dream address stops meaning anything at all. Number 10. Better retirement destinations. And here is where the story takes a powerful and genuinely exciting turn, because this final reason is not about pain, frustration, or regret. This reason is about possibility, opportunity, and the incredible retirement life that is waiting for you somewhere else. Because the truth is, it is not just about what has gone wrong in California. It is about how spectacularly right the rest of America has become for retirees who are bold enough to make the move. The retirement landscape across the United States has transformed beyond recognition over the past decade. Cities and states that were once completely overlooked by retirees are now offering extraordinary quality of life, world-class healthcare, stunning natural beauty, and vibrant communities, all at a fraction of what California demands. These are not consolation prizes or compromise destinations. These are genuinely magnificent places to spend your retirement years. Scottsdale, Arizona delivers warm sunshine, world-class golf, outstanding medical infrastructure, and absolutely zero tax on Social Security income. Sarasota, Florida offers breathtaking beaches, a thriving arts and culture scene, excellent healthcare, and the powerful financial advantage of zero state income tax. Asheville, North Carolina wraps retirees in stunning mountain beauty, for distinct seasons, a celebrated food scene, and a cost of living that makes California look absolutely absurd by comparison. And cities across Texas like San Antonio and Austin combine modern infrastructure, rapidly expanding healthcare systems, a warm and welcoming culture, and housing that costs 40% to 60% less than comparable California properties. These destinations have made deliberate, serious investments in becoming retirement-friendly, building senior communities, expanding medical centers, developing transportation options, and cultivating cultures where older residents are genuinely valued, welcomed, and celebrated. When retirees finally do the complete math, the annual tax savings, the housing equity unlocked, the dramatically lower daily costs, the freedom of being near family, the case for staying in California collapses almost entirely. Retirement is not about clinging to a dream that stopped working. It is about being brave enough to find the dream that actually delivers. We pour everything we have into every single video because helping you find the retirement you truly deserve is not just content for us, it is a genuine mission. So tell us in the comments, which of these 10 reasons hit closest to home for you personally? We are genuinely eager to read every single response, and subscribing is honestly just one single click. One click that keeps life-changing, retirement-protecting content flowing straight to you every week without fail. So there you have it, 10 real, raw, and deeply important reasons why thousands of retirees are leaving California every single month, and why so many of them look back and say with complete honesty that they wish they had made the decision to leave years earlier. This is not a story about California being a terrible place. It has genuine beauty, remarkable culture, and undeniable charm. But beauty does not pay your tax bill. Charm does not cover your insurance premium. And sunshine does not replace the feeling of watching your grandchildren grow up right in front of your eyes. Retirement is the chapter of life you worked your entire existence to reach. Every early morning, every late night, every sacrifice, every dollar saved, it was all building toward this. Toward freedom. Toward peace. Toward waking up every single morning in a place that protects your savings, embraces your values, keeps you close to the people you love most, and makes every ordinary day feel genuinely worth living. That is what retirement is supposed to feel like, and that feeling is absolutely still available in America. Just perhaps not at a California zip code. The retirees who left California are not defeated people. They are not failures. They are brave, clear-eyed, and honest people who looked at their situation, did the real math, felt the real emotions, and made the courageous decision to choose themselves and their happiness over an address. And almost universally, they say it was the best decision they ever made. So ask yourself one powerful and honest question before this video ends. Is where you plan to retire truly built for the life you deserve, or just the dream you were sold? The answer to that question could change everything. Disclaimer. The content presented in this video is strictly for general educational and informational purposes only. It does not constitute financial, legal, or professional retirement planning advice. Every individual situation is unique, and viewers are strongly encouraged to consult with a qualified financial advisor, licensed tax professional, or certified retirement planner before making any major decisions regarding relocation, retirement planning, or financial strategy.